Ashen Arrows is a mix of archery, tower defense, light puzzle solving, bit of RPG, and rogue-like elements. All playable solo or in co-op. If that sounds like a chaotic mashup, well, that's exactly what it is, but the big question is it good or does it suck balls? I'm gonna tell you all about it in my review. Note on the side, the review copy was provided to me ahead of release, so I could play it and review it for you. At its core, this is an archery-based game. Your primary weapon is a bow, and throughout the game you can upgrade your arrows and unlock new types. Occasionally, you get to use some unique weapons tailored to a specific levels. VR archery is of course nothing new, and if you played some of the heavy hitters in past, like Horizon Call of the Mountain or similar titles, then you notice this game doesn't quite reach those heights. One issue is the hitbox size. It could use a slight increase to reduce the frustration of arrows barely missing the targets. Virtual reality archery lacks the physical feedback of real bow and its string, so compensating for that is crucial. In this game, archery works, but it could feel smoother and more satisfying. You can choose between teleportation or smooth locomotion, as well as click turning or smooth turning. The control scheme is intuitive and keep inputs minimal, while still allowing for fast-paced VR interactions. However, haptic feedback is quite weak, adding a stronger vibration would greatly enhance the immersion. While you can pick up the objects, there is little physics-based interaction. You can't really throw them, they kind of stuck to your hand, or you cannot play around with the environment. Climbing is non-interactive, you just touch an orb, the screen goes black and suddenly you are at the top of a ladder. For a VR game, it's lacking that intuitive hands-on feel that makes VR gameplay shine. The game uses a cel-shaded, low-poly art style, which has become very common and overused in virtual reality. While not bad, it is nothing special and feels quite outdated. You expect this to run smoothly, yet the performance can suffer and you can expect slowdowns. My PC is quite powerful and with everything maxed out, it sometimes stutters strangely. But all that said, the lighting work is quite impressive. The developers do a great job transforming simple assets into something visually engaging, and the use of scale and grand environments add to the atmosphere. The game consists of a story mode split into 4 acts, playable in single player, or tower defense mode, which you can play in co-op with up to 3 players. But there is a problem. All of them, they are tied together, forcing you to complete tower defense segments to progress the story. The tower defense mode, if you've been playing VR for many years by now, you're probably tired of tower defense games. The minimum wave count is 20, which can feel like a chore. While you can upgrade the skills between the waves, it is still wave after wave of repetitive enemies, and the enemy design, sometimes it can be very questionable. They're not pretty to look at. Co-op might make it more fun, but solo, it does drag. Story mode, this is where this game shines for me. It doesn't take itself too seriously, and the variety of levels, enemies, puzzles, and mechanics keep things interesting. Odin narrates the story for you, and his dialogue is endless. He just talks and talks. It can get repetitive. However, his voice acting is the best in the game, but it could be possibly AI generated. Might be not, I don't know. It's hard to tell those days. Other characters feel like casual voiceovers, lacking this professional polish. The game forces you to grind through tower defense maps to unlock more story content. After finishing the first story arc, which is about an hour long, you must complete another 20-wave tower defense map before continuing. This is where I ran into the game-breaking bug. An enemy got stuck around wave 15, making further progress impossible. The starting and replaying 15 tedious waves once, it is already mega boring. For it to happen twice, it's just not worth it. So, the final verdict, the game has the potential here, the story mode can be fun, and the mix of mechanics is interesting. However, it is overshadowed by frustrating design choices, repetitive tower defense gameplay, and this one major progression bug, which I hit, might not happen to you, I don't know. The good things are full story with creative level variety, large immersive environments, decent archery mechanics, but of course it could be improved as I mentioned earlier, and really good soundtrack. I really enjoyed that one. The bad is the forced tower defense grind between story sections, weak haptic feedback and lack of physical interactions, unpolished voice acting, performance issues despite simple graphics, and this big progression stopping bug. So, as of now, I have to give this game 3 out of 10. There is a good game hidden inside bad game. But, as it stands, it's hard to recommend. If the tower defense and story were separate, the experience would be much better and I probably scored the game much higher. Sometimes less is more. Hopefully future update will fix the progression issues and allow players to enjoy the game without this unnecessary grind for those people who don't like tower defense. And that's it. Bye 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 bye.